Today, we're going to dissect why the trust factor between Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love is the most dangerous trigger this season. Furthermore, we'll reveal the name of the rookie who's haunting the coordinators with a mindset unseen here in decades. What happens when a 7-year plan is thrown in the trash to start from scratch? The answers will show you a Packers team you haven't seen before. The atmosphere in Green Bay is pure electricity. The dog days of summer are ending. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited. But to understand what's coming tomorrow at training camp, we need to talk about the biggest narrative of this offseason, the definitive emancipation of Jordan Love. I've been hammering this point home exhaustively. Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback in this league, period. But the great irony, the point that short-circuits the mind of any serious analyst, is the contradiction between his performance and head coach Matt LaFleur's strategy. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and you can be part of this milestone. Let's look at the facts, and the numbers don't lie, although they're painful to face. Last year, the Green Bay Packers were only the 28th team in passing the ball the most in the NFL. Conversely, we were the 5th team in running the ball the most. Now hold on to your seats. When the ball was in Love's hands for a pass, our dropback success rate was the 5th best in the league. Our EPA, expected points added, on passing plays was the 2nd highest in the entire NFL. Compare that to our running game, which languished in 21st place in efficiency. Do you see the absurdity? Jordan Love was lethal, clinical, and explosive. But the system insisted on keeping the handbrake on, prioritizing a race that simply wasn't working. Why not trust a talent that's delivering elite metrics? Love was top 5 or top 6 in almost every advanced performance indicator in the second half of the season. I'm ready to see Matt LaFleur look at Jordan and say, the key to the franchise is yours, just like it was for a certain number 12 in the past. And it seems something finally clicked in the minds of our coaching staff. LaFleur recently revealed that the team took a deep dive into everything that's been done over the last 7 years. Running game, passing game, screens. They audited every inch of film and discarded what wasn't effective. That's music to my ears. While he didn't explicitly say we're going to pass the ball 50 times a game, the philosophical shift is imminent. Green Bay's offense can no longer be held hostage by an offensive line that struggled agonizingly to create running holes last year. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and you can be part of this milestone. The quarterback has to be the star. If we have a technological advantage, why continue fighting a manual trench warfare? Trust isn't just about giving him $1 million contract. It's about giving him the freedom to audit plays at the line of scrimmage, trusting his arm on long third downs, and most importantly, understanding that the running game should now serve the pass, not the other way around. If this change in mentality materializes in the coming weeks of training, ladies and gentlemen, this team's potential is non-existent. I want to see the gleam in Love's eyes when he receives his first aggressive play call tomorrow. The respect he's earned in the locker room needs to be reflected on LaFleur's play sheet. It's time to unleash the beast. While our aerial attack looks promising under Jordan Love's leadership, the other side of the coin hides a vulnerability that keeps me up at night. Our pass rush. We need to face the stark reality. With Micah Parsons confirmed out for the first 8 weeks of the season, a gap that thunders through our defensive planning, the question remains, who will actually step up? We can't be naive. The pressure on Lucas Van Ness's shoulders is now colossal. He's no longer just a promising prospect or a rotation player. He's been elevated to the number 1 spot out of necessity, and the numbers show that the gap behind him is terrifying. Look, Van Ness leads the group with 27 pressures, but who comes next? Barron Sorrell with only 7. Britton Cox Jr. with 6, Colin Oliver with 2, and then there's rookie Dennis Sutton, who despite his potential is still a statistical 0 in the NFL. That's why I've been harping on the need to sign a veteran. We can't place the entire fate of our defense on the shoulders of young players who are still learning to read the nuances of elite blocking. Lucas Van Ness showed flashes of brilliance before getting injured last year, and the front office doubled down by exercising the 5th-year option. But to be honest with you, the fan, 3 years as a first-round pick, and he still hasn't delivered the consistency needed to be the guy that opposing quarterbacks fear. If he doesn't blossom now under the scorching sun of training camp, our defense will be an open invitation for opposing offenses to crush us while Parsons is out. And speaking of being crushed, we need to open the black box of our offensive line. I've discussed this ad nauseum, but the situation is critical. Last year, aside from Zach Tom, who was the only starter to boast a decent PFF grade above 62, the rest of the group was a statistical disappointment. We were the 30th team in yards after contact with a paltry 1.3 yards. We had the worst block turnover rate among guards. The impact of this. The running game collapsed, the EPA plummeted, and Jordan Love was left to fend for himself in situations of constant pressure. Now the gamble goes by the name of Jordan Morgan. He's our new starting left tackle, the most sacred and highest paid position on the line. But here's the detail many people are ignoring. Morgan has only 51 snaps as a left tackle in his career. He spent much more time as a guard, and although he was selected in the first round to protect our QB's blind side, the transition is a minefield. If Morgan and Anthony Belton, who now assumes the responsibility of filling the void left in the middle of the line, don't hold their own, the plan to give Jordan Love more freedom could go up in smoke before Week 4. It's a dangerous domino effect. If the line doesn't block, the run doesn't work. If the run doesn't work, the opposing defense only needs to focus on the pass, and then not even the best QB in the world can work miracles. But it's not all worry. Amidst this tactical tension, there's a dispute that's pure entertainment, but with serious consequences for the locker room hierarchy. Who is the team's alpha receiver? The market has made its decision. Christian Watson received a contract extension worth $23 million per year. Jayden Reed, after a dazzling start to his career, also secured his spot with a $16 million makeover. And then there's Matthew Golden, the only first-round wide receiver in this picture. The scenario is fascinating and cruel. Watson has the physique, the contract, and the talent of an all-pro, but his injury history is a constant dark cloud. Reed is consistency personified, the guy who moves the chains. And Golden? Well, Golden is the promise of a ceiling we haven't even seen yet. The front office made it clear they trust this trio by allowing names like Dontavion Wicks and Romeo Doubs to pursue other paths. They chose their horses for this race. In my view, if Christian Watson starts healthy, he begins the year as the number one target. But don't blink, because if Matthew Golden develops as the scouts predict, the crown could change hands quickly. Matt LaFleur has a good problem on his hands, but managing these egos and talents while trying to fix an unstable offensive line will be the biggest test of his career. Who do you think will finish the season with the most touchdowns? The answer to that question could define whether the Packers' offense will be merely good or truly historic. But if there's one thing that can truly separate the men from the boys in this training camp, it's not just yards or pressure stats. It's mentality. And that's where we need to talk about Brandon Cece. Look at the investment. You don't spend the 54th overall pick on a quarterback to have him as just a decorative piece on the bench or a project to add depth to the roster. The front office was clear, and the front office echoed what we all felt. The quarterback position needed a dose of reality and raw talent, and Cece arrives with a responsibility that many veterans would shy away from. He was drafted to be number one. Many might question the fact that we have two players with more seniority who, theoretically, know the system. But talent doesn't ask for permission, and Brandon Cece's attitude is something I haven't seen in a rookie in a very, very long time. In an era of multi-million-dollar contracts in the NIL, where 20-year-olds arrive in the league with garages full of luxury cars and inflated egos, Cece is a fascinating anomaly. He doesn't want pampering. He wants to be molded by fire. His account of the new defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, is enough to send shivers down the spine of any fan who values the old school of Green Bay. Gannon is tough. He's relentless. Cece revealed that even when he makes a spectacular play, the coach tears him apart in the video room. He gets yelled at, criticized for his footwork, his reaction time, every single detail. And what's this kid's reaction? He embraces it. He thrives on tough love. He understands that perfection is unattainable, but the pursuit of it is what defines the immortals of this sport. Having a young quarterback who prefers to hear what he did wrong rather than be applauded for what he did right is the greatest asset we could have. Cece is coming off an intense final season in South Carolina, navigated the transfer market, and already understands that the NFL doesn't forgive hesitation. He's ready to be challenged. He wants Gannon to push him to the limit because he knows that if he survives that hostile training environment, the Chicago Bears or Detroit Lions defense will seem like a walk in the park. That mental resilience is what makes me believe he could be ready as early as Week 1. He has the arm, he has the vision, but above all, he has the hunger that many first-round prospects lack. We're on the cusp of something special. The rookies report tomorrow. The smell of freshly cut grass at Lambeau Field is already in the air, and the weight of this stadium's history, undoubtedly the number one item on any American football fan's wish list, is beginning to be felt. This isn't just another training camp. It's an audit of 7 years of hard work being put to the test. It's the transition from a rigid system to an explosive offense led by Jordan Love. It's the litmus test for a patched-up offensive line and a group of receivers vying for supremacy. If you, like me, feel this season will be an emotional roller coaster, you need to be with us every step of the way. I'll be covering every detail, every injury update, every change in the depth chart, and every rumor that comes out from behind the scenes. The journey to the Super Bowl begins now, in the sweat of summer, the harsh criticism from the video room, and the unity of this fan base that never abandons Lambeau Field. The fate of the Green Bay Packers hangs in the balance, and the question I leave you, the fan, is this. Who do you truly believe will be the X factor this season? Jordan Love's arm strength, the offensive line overhaul with Jordan Morgan, or the ruthless mentality of rookie Brandon Cece? Comment below because I want to know your opinion. Let's discuss, let's analyze, and above all, let's cheer together. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is your last chance to make sure you don't miss tomorrow's video with the first images of the rookies on the field. Turn on notifications, leave a like if you believe in the title this year, and share this video in that WhatsApp group with your Packers friends. The season is here. Let's go.